Okay, good evening, everyone, from India and Malaysia. Good to be in the same time zone as the people I'm talking to for a change. Yeah, we have Matunga Manram, the bridesmaids of the Premiership, the team that has never won the Premiership despite being so good that everyone thinks they should win it. So, shall we get you lot to introduce yourselves because well, we just know you as Matunga Manram, and a lot of people actually don't know individual quizzes, which is the flow of our system, really.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. So, I'm Nikhil. I don't know what are we supposed to introduce ourselves as. I mean, I guess I don't specialize, but I kind of tend to veer towards science, pop culture, that sort of stuff, and quizzes. And yeah, I've been quizzing with most of these guys for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I'm getting the vibe that is so. You are an actual team compared to some of our teams.
Yeah. Okay, should I go next?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Govind, and I guess I am in Matunga Manram to cover more entertainment related topics in terms of my area of strength. And yeah, I've been quizzing with these guys, I would say more than a couple of years, I think around 3 to 4 years it's been. So I think that the couple of years is the lockdown online time period. So yes, and it has been a huge amount of fun and a huge amount of learning to quiz with these guys.
All right, over to you, Pritwish.
Hi, this is Pritwish. I'm not sure whether I specialize in. I hope I covered something for the team. But in general, yeah, it's been fun quizzing with everyone. And of course, I mean, because of the nature of the competition, like more than your performance, it's also getting to know that, what's across the board and the kind of answers people give. So it's a wonderful experience.
Okay, well, thanks for obviously telling the sponsors that you like them. That's very useful. What do you do this for? Do you do this for the questions, or do you do this for the people? Because like you're in India, there's tens of thousands of questions every weekend.
I think a bit of both. So there is. So I think that there's a different flavor you get from team-based quizzing than you do from individual. Most competitions are individual in nature, right? Given the plethora of mimirs that are out there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just to see how well you can do as a team, because one of the, I guess, the beauties of this format is, while every single person need not be the best quizzer in the world, if they're good enough at a certain set of topics or a certain sort of swathe of the overall quizzing canon, and that combination works well. That kind of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's that, and of course the quality of questions is really good, which is also a plus.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, the whole being greater than the sum of the parts is actually the key reason why I think that the team-based competition is ideal. Because as Nikhil went on to say, individually we might not be necessarily the best and all, but I think combined as a team we are decent.
And I think one of the first kind of quizzes which gave you the opportunity to take part with international teams. I mean, pre-lockdown and all, you've been taking part in quizzes in India and all, and of course, you've been exposed to the best in India. But this kind of competition actually shows you, or rather, gives you the chance to take part with some people who's been you've been hearing about. You've seen their names topping WQC year on year, and also just to see them and be at times humbled by them is always a nice experience.
I mean, it's nice of you guys, give so much credit to the WQC guys, but how do you guys feel about Indian cuisine finally being sort of well known to the world? Because I think before this, you wanted to do an Indian quiz, you have to come to India, or you have to be friends with someone and get access to some Google Drive.
It's nice. It's a different style of quizzing, I guess. Maybe a little bit more detail oriented as compared to what they ask in the UK, which tends to be very short, pithy sentences, maybe a lot more lateral thinking as such. So it's nice, and I hope that means it's a style of quizzing that we ourselves do like, and we hope that it has takers outside of India as well.
Okay, so just moving on from Indian cuisine and all that to just the competition. Why haven't you guys won the title yet? It's been 5 seasons. Your record is third, fifth, and you're at least guaranteed second this time. So
I don't know. That's a tough one. I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to, you know, who does well on on that day, and you know, do the selection of topics kind of go your way or not. I mean, we could just as easily have been, I think, you know, fourth or fifth in the table. Given the quality of the competition out there, we just happen to have done well this season, so we're in the position that we're in. And I mean, I don't think we've done anything particularly different this season. It's just luck, I guess. And that's my view.
Broadly the same. Yes. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't go your way. Third, fifth. Oh, okay. I don't know. Sporting analogy would be what? We'd be like what? The Phoenix Suns or the Utah Jazz of AQL or something. I don't know.
well,
American reference, well left.
Yes. American reference in Asian quiz. Very bad.
it's just I'm just amazed that you managed to pick out an American reference so that your opponents will know who exactly what they're going against. And yeah. Well, I mean, Arsenal said the same thing in the beginning of this year when they started winning matches and they've not stopped so far. So yeah, I mean, what is it about this luck of the draw thing? Everyone talks about it. Do you think it's there, or do you think it evens out in the end?
I think, I mean, it evens out. I think over multiple seasons. I think, you know, that's when you really have enough data to say that you know, if a team has consistently performed and kind of been near the top of the table over, you know, 4 or 5 seasons, then that's something that you can definitely sort of draw a conclusion from. Otherwise, I think there is an element of luck, as there is in probably, you know, most formats of quizzing, including, you know, mimears and things like that, because you know, everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes you might choose a topic that you think is you know, up your alley, and turns out you know, it's not quite, or you just happen to pick those 2 questions that you know absolutely nothing about, even though you may know like everything there is to know about, you know, that particular genre or book, or, you know, whatever it may be. So there is an element of luck, and given, again, like I said, right, given the quality of the teams, you don't have a lot of questions, at least in the Premiership, normally passing back and forth between teams, right? So if you get your 4 points on your individual questions, you know, that's great. If you don't, I think the margin for error is quite small. So your opponents are not likely to be very forgiving of you know, mistakes in choosing topics, if I can put it that way. So I think that's why people keep talking about luck, because, you know, very often that's all it boils down to, like one bad topic selection, or, you know, a mystery box that kind of goes one way rather than the other, and you're like, oh, if we had chosen the other one, you know, we'd have got all 3 versus getting 1 or 0. I mean, that's happened to us, I know. So yeah, I mean, there is an element of luck, but I think that kind of makes the format also a little more interesting, as opposed to something like, say, WQC, where there is less luck involved, right? I mean, everyone's doing exactly the same thing. It's, in that sense, it's perhaps more objective, but that, I think, takes away some of the charm from actually, you know, doing the quiz.
Well, I mean, I'm I'm getting the feeling that you haven't experienced that very often, the getting zero in your own topics this season, especially illustrated during your latest match where you became I think it's the first team in. I don't remember any other team hitting a 50 before the Aardvarks did that in season 1 to one poor team who I think are no longer with us. How did you do that? I mean, how do you hit a 50? The total score is 52, by the way.
We got, like I said, it was on the day the topics suited us. I mean, we had, if I recollect, Asian boxers was one of the topics, right? Boss just remind me. And that was a topic that could have gone either way. It could be something more on the obscure side. It could have been something that was not so tough. And luckily, again, the luck thing is important. Like Nikhil said, you may have a topic of Oscar winners where, because they focus on slightly less well-known eras or genres or filmmakers, might not go your way. But again, like I said, just that was our day, and thankful for that. And again, I would also like to advocate that I think that someone made the observation that it's a good balance of topics across this team, in terms of you have individuals who know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. So that I think helped a lot.
And you have Vino.
Yes.
I was just about to ask, do you have a fourth player, like a player who always goes fourth?
Yeah. We do pretty much. The captain of our team, Vino Sanjay, always goes fourth, and he always goes, and he pretty much smashes it most of the time. So yeah, I mean, again, the luck of being his teammates. Yes.
Yeah. Do you all experience fourth player syndrome, where the fourth player resents the first, second, and third players because the first player always gets to get first choice and gets to get 8 points?
I don't think so. I mean, you'd have to ask Vinu. Any of us have played in fourth place, at least in this season. It may have happened in one of the other seasons where he's like sat out a game or something. But it hasn't happened this season. I don't think any of us feel that way, to be honest. Even if there are officially 6 people in the team, although Bala hasn't played this season because he's kind of OD'd on quizzing for some time. But I don't think any of us that way resent anybody else, or who's the captain, who typically makes sort of team selections. If one of us is asked to sit out, very often we volunteer to sit out simply because we don't think topics are in our wheelhouse. So I don't think that's there. I think part of that is just down to chemistry, and part of it is down to like we were discussing before we started recording, just not taking this too seriously, right? It is, at the end of the day, something we do for fun, and there's no point in getting upset with friends just because somebody got to answer a topic that you might have wanted to take earlier. I mean, it's just not worth it, I think.
Yeah.
I'm intending to splice that little bit out and put it out there so people can remember that, because I get tensions from less well-formed teams. Just wondering, just to pick up on that point, how seriously do you think people take this thing? Because there's no money. I do it in my free time, and many of my league reports are written during meetings. But I get all these texts all the time. People upset when I write. People upset because there's one point missing from their thing. And people are appear to be tracking it a lot more closely than I think. So how seriously do you guys think people are taking this? And how seriously are you guys taking this?
I would, I don't want to be dishonest and say that we're not taking this seriously, but I also wouldn't like to think that if we lost, it would lead to rancor or recrimination amongst us. I would say that we know where our strengths and weaknesses lie. We know that no one is going to deliberately underperform, and that's that. As long as that understanding is there between the team members, I think that's that. I don't think that there has ever been a situation where if we haven't done well, or if again we chose a topic which we thought might favor us, but it didn't. It's okay. We learn the lesson from it and we say, all right, let's see the next time. Maybe we need to be a little bit more watchful as such. And that's the great thing about quizzing with this bunch of individuals is that, you get to understand each individual's plus points, minus points, and like largely, not acrimonious as such, unless, I don't know, stuff is said behind my back, unless.
Which it is, I assure you, it is. It is.
Oh my God.
I mean, from your team, I'm getting the feeling that you're a team that plays really well because you're all friends. And we have a lot of designer teams that have been sort of put together by 6 names being added consecutively to a WhatsApp group, and you can see how things go. Just wondering, have there been any really, really good moments and really, really bad moments, like just memorable stuff in the last 5 seasons? Because you've been with us since November 2020. You're one of our original teams.
Wow.
Oh, that's 5 seasons, huh?
Wow,
That's 5
yeah,
seasons.
man. Very impressive. Wow.
Um,
Okay, I have one memorable moment, like actually, and this is a bit of recency bias. So that Asian boxers thing, which Pritwish out here like knocked out of the park, like it was like, don't ask me these rather casually easy questions. I mean, and my jaw was on the floor thinking with that, wow, he knows. Because see, typically, like my sporting reference was an American sporting reference. So to know sports references across continents, across games, takes a fair amount of work, and I was extremely impressed with that. I was like, yes, I'm very glad that Prithvish is in our team.
Okay. Any bad moments, or have you not lost enough games for that?
yeah. No, for sure. So I remember, I think this was last season. There was a question about I forget what the topic was, but the answer was the woman in black. And I said the lady in black, which was wrong because it's the title of a movie, right? So you're not looking for synonyms or anything like that. And I remember just kicking myself afterwards because it seemed so obvious after I said it, like literally a split second later, I was like, no, this is not the answer, right? So I think those moments are kind of bad. I don't think it cost us anything because I don't think that would have sort of sent us to the finals, or I don't think that cost us a place anywhere. But yeah, I mean, that for me was one of, I think, many moments of frustration, which is only natural in any good quiz competition, right? Because if you don't have those, then someone's doing something very, very wrong, right? Either the QMs are making it too easy or too tough, or you're not thinking hard enough, or not pushing yourself enough. So yeah, I think that for me was, I mean, many such instances.
Given the nature of this format, I think one of the things which either can work for you or like stands out as something you want to forget is when you have a decent first half and then you have a second half meltdown. I think we had a couple of them. One of the earlier seasons, like we had a decent first half. I don't remember the specifics or what resulted out of it, but second halves where things you want to forget and move on to the next quiz types, like proper meltdowns.
Yeah.
And of course, the reverse also works true when you are trailing in the first half and then you have that like last sprint where you tend to cover up, which adds to the nature of how the league works and how the format works. And I think that stands out either way, like both as something you remember as a positive thing, also you want to forget. And
How many days do the misses haunt you all?
now that offline quizzing is back, or rather, as someone wants to put it, quizzing is back, and there are more quizzes, probably the gap has narrowed. Also, there are like other leagues and all happening. So, but of course, it haunts you why you picked A over B.
Yes. Yes. I think that's a feature common to all quizzes. We've got 2 minutes left. I just want to address something important in quizzing because, I've got you guys stuck on my Zoom call and I'm going to load this in half an hour. Why do you think people cheat in quizzing? Because I'm pretty sure your team, you guys don't cheat. 100% sure. Why do you think people do that?
I don't know. I think honestly, I think given the amount of quizzing that's happening, and given the fact that as compared to perhaps earlier, where maybe you saw where you placed, in your own local league or something like that, right? Where you weren't necessarily comparing yourself to genuine quizzing greats, right? I mean, and some of them are we're going to face in about a week's time. Now you're constantly sort of on display, right? Because you're probably, if you're a serious quizzer, you're part of multiple leagues. There is a leaderboard. It keeps moving up and down, and somewhere I think maybe people feel a little insecure because they're not sure whether they measure up, and there is then pressure because, oh, I was in tier 1 in last season, and now I've dropped to tier 3, so I need to be back in tier 1, and I think that it's largely, I think, driven by insecurity, and I think as long as you don't take yourself and the game too seriously, and you don't derive your self-esteem from only from the fact that you're a great quizzer, uh, I don't think there's any motivation to cheat. At least that's the way I look at it. What do you guys think? I mean, different views.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. No, and yeah, okay, as to add to what Nikhil said, yes, it can be sometimes disconcerting where you think that you're really good, but then when you come into, which I think is true of any competitive field, that in your brain you might think you're extremely good, but then when you come into a selection of competitors where everyone else is good, it sort of, maybe it causes you to think, okay, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. And some people handle it okay, some people handle it differently. We see the results of how they handle it differently. So
anyway, I find it really hilarious that when I asked the cheating question, all your hands immediately came up on the screen. So like really subconsciously went back on the screen.
No. This is one time when I think very consciously kept both my hands off the screen, simply because this is one of the rare opportunities where I'm with quizzing folk and I don't need to have my hands on screen, right? Otherwise, it's like this or this, and like
yeah. Pritwish, your hands have been on the screen all the way through the interview, which is fantastic. I mean, it's just like kind of a ritualistic
force of habit.
Nothing to note down.
it's a habit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said this to the other team. I'm going to say it to you guys. I really, really hope you guys win, because it's an Asian quizzing championship league, and it hasn't been won by an Asian team for a very, very, very long time. So it's getting a bit embarrassing. I mean, there's so much you can do to manipulate behind the scenes, but ultimately the non-Asian teams have won twice, and we're just really hoping you guys win. And if you guys win, well, it also means that we'll get to actually, unlike the other teams who win this league, you actually get to come to the Malaysian Asian Quizzing Championship at some point in your lives. Do you think you'll ever come to AQC?
Yeah, I think I've visited Malaysia before, so it's not too difficult to reach from India. So yeah, definitely, it's not. Why Prithvi seems to think like, no,
It seems like a very logistics answer.
No, because
addressing
it's not. See, it comes down to logistics and stay, which are the major friction points. And Malaysia is quite easy. I mean, if let's say, for example, were the Asian Quizzing Championships not in, or if they were held in Japan, for example, I would be like, okay, then Japan is a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, sure, definitely.
Definitely, because if you guys win on Saturday, every single team in Asia will want to beat you after that as the Indian team. Because right now you're the best team in India, unfortunately. So that's where it stands. You're the best team in India, and if you win on Saturday, you'll be the best team in the world for about 6 months. So we're apparently considered one of the world's hardest quizzing leagues for some very odd reason.
Really?
No, and no, see, actually, a huge amount of thanks and gratitude from our side, because setting these questions, I know for yourself, for Movin, being regular in the updates and everything, it is not an easy task. Okay, a huge amount of thanks to the readers also who come. Okay, means definitely in the last 2 years we have seen that we quizzers, we participants often don't appreciate that these little logistical things, if they're not addressed, they actually can make events a bit of a pain. And generally, we've not had this in AQL. So,
And I think this is one of these leaks that's evolved over time also. Like we introduced the clustering of mystery box based on topics. This time, how you are managing
correct.
for the question delivery and all. So, I mean, it's not just a league which is good and remained where it was. I think it's evolved for the better and it's more quizzer friendly. Like you can sense that like some of the decisions that are being made or some of the changes that are being introduced is something which a quizzer would have recommended if they were playing the game. So it's like a quizzers league kind of a thing. That's
Yeah, we're one of those British sort of semi-professional stuff things that put together by people in bedrooms, and we're never going to go professional. Though the computer system that this year was introduced may have made it look a little bit too professional. Anyway, I know some of you have got calls to take and places to go, but thank you so much for making it today. We really, really hope you win, just like how I told the Motley Crew the same thing. But one of you's got to win and bring the trophy back to Asia for a change. Any last words you want to say to scare Pat Gibson and his friends?
As if that's even possible.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah.
No,
that can only make a meme that can't make a good mystery.
Yeah. Well, you're just gonna scare them by getting 50 points this weekend, so that's fine.
Wow. Okay then.
Right.
No pressure, boys. No pressure whatsoever.
No pressure. Anyway, no worries. We'll see you on Saturday, or is it Sunday? I keep getting the date wrong.
I think it's Sunday. I think it's Sunday.
We'll see you on the day that my website says that I'll see you on. And good luck, guys. And thanks for making it. It's really so much better to see interview you all face to face rather than send one of those fake interview things that I emailed earlier.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay, see you guys then, and expect this to be uploaded in about half an hour.
Okay.
Okay, bye guys. Good luck.
Bye. Good night. Yeah, bye.